If you are an OnlyFans agency owner who is interested in scaling their agency, then you have probably experienced the joy and wonder that comes with hiring or attempting to hire and train Filipino chatters. It's tough, let's be honest, whether they have experience or they don't have experience. Sometimes you feel like you are talking to a retard or an idiot or an alien or a dog or a child or fucking whatever. And it's frustrating. And it's very challenging for a lot of reasons. I don't want to get into them in the intro, but in this video, I will be telling you how I turn retarded Filipinos into loyal soldiers who bring me money every day and thank me for the opportunity to do so. What's up, everybody? Poppy from simphunter.com. Check out my website. Go join my group. Look at the model marketplace, blah, blah, blah. Links in the description. So how do I do it? I've done it 5 times. So this is not like I hired one chatter and he was good and like, okay, good job. I got lucky. No. He was also a retard when he started. I think he watches my videos. So like, no offense, bro, you were retarded. Now you are much less retarded. I'll be honest with you. Like you're very good now. You've smartened up quite a bit. And I'm sure you would say the same thing as well. So how do I do it? Now, this is not how I did it for the one who I said has been with me for a while and was retarded and isn't retarded anymore. Him, I did not do any of this stuff for, or most of it. But the 4 other ones that I've hired, actually 5 now, I take it back. 6 actually, really. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to tell you how I do it right now. There's 4 steps. Step number 1 is you need to train them. Yes, you need to train them. Don't fall for, if you're going to hire chatters, all right? When I hire chatters, I look for people with no experience. I don't want to ever hire a chatter with experience. I am not interested at all in how many years they've been chatting. I don't want to see their screenshots of accounts that are totally theirs. And even if they're not, like, no chatters are good. They're all dog shit. The reason I don't hire chatters with experience is because they all have bad habits. They have bad habits that they picked up from the last agency because the last agency didn't train them or train them improperly or funneled traffic in a way to the account that made them more inclined to use chatting strategies that would burn subs. Yeah, fine. Maybe there's some good chatters out there. Most are not. And it is for this reason that step number 1 is that you need to train them or retrain them or put every new chatter that comes into your organization must go through the training program. Every single one. Every new person that wants to be one of my chatters goes through the training. And what is the training? I'm glad you asked. The training, number 1, is reading my article on simphunter.com, which you can find. It's one of the most recent articles. 20-something thousand words, like that alone. And that's the pre-training. It's not even the training. That's like what they need to read before I even start the training. And that's not all. I have maybe an hour's worth of videos as well they need to watch. But they need to read that article. And now that I think about it, I'm going to start sending them some other stuff as well that they need to go over. But they need to do that. And then currently I'm doing between 2 to 3 days of role play, where I take them through like my system and we alternate, like they're the girl, I'm the sub. And then sometimes if they're really bad, like I'll demonstrate, or if I want to make a specific point, I will demonstrate and I will be the chatter, right? The girl, whatever, and they will be the subs. But the point is that you need to train them. Whatever your training system is do you have a training system? Is your training system like a 1-page PDF? Is your training system what it was when I trained my first chatter, which is like 5 e-whoring PDFs from fucking 2017 that I sent to him and was like, here you go, good luck. I recommend that you put together a training program. Now, I'll make a separate video about this, why putting together a training program for chatters is so important. But the short version of that explanation is that when you are actively recruiting and building a sales team, you will naturally, and they're good people that you want to keep, you will feel pressure to expand your operation more traffic, better models, whatever, so that they have the opportunity to earn money, so that you don't lose them. Because if you train them and they're good and you want to keep them, then you need to provide them the opportunity to earn money. Of course, there's other ways to improve retention, which I will not go over in this video, but in another video I will. But it's very important. So bottom line is you need to train your new chatters. Come up with a training program. I mean, look, like, you're busy. I know you don't want to do it. It would be easier if you hired a manager. I thought all those things too. It never worked. It never worked until I was the sole person responsible for hiring and training the chatters myself and managing them also. It never worked for me until I did that. Take it with a grain of salt. Step 2 is to get rid of the ultra mega giga retards or put them in a different role. So the way my system for recruiting chatters goes is like this. Okay, I make the job ad, I get the responses. Anybody who responds, I used to be more selective with who I respond to. Now I don't. Like, you responded to the job, I don't even read the responses anymore. You responded to the ad, I will, I don't want to give away the exact what I do, but like, I communicate to them that they need to go through the pre-training. Again, like I said, the pre-training is reading the article and watching a couple of videos. And then afterwards, if you guys have seen my job posts in Chatters Venture or OFM Jobs, they're very long, they're very detailed. You can look them up if you want. But basically, it will have something at the end where it's like, reply to me with this exact information. So that, and the exact information is like confirmation from them that they will follow my training protocol. That's because I don't want to, and it's just to save time, really is what it is. Because like, I found myself always having to message them and be like, you have to do it like this and blah, blah, blah. This is when I hired people with experience. Now I don't hire people with experience, but I still have it in there anyway, just to like get them to speak into the universe that they are confirming that they will do what I tell them to do. Doesn't always work, but at least it like adds a little weight on the scale, I think, maybe, I don't know. So I do try to filter. That's the pre-training. Anybody who responds to that, and if they respond in the correct way, as I lay out in the correspondence to them, you must respond like this. Some people just respond and they're like, I'm interested. And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll fucking follow the instructions in the like paragraph I just sent you. Fucking retards, bro. I swear to God. Anyway, some people slip through the cracks. It is what it is. But I believe from my many, many years of sales experience that anybody can sell. And it's true. Anybody can sell. Even if you're a retard, you can sell. I've seen a lot of retards make a lot more money than smart people. So I will give everybody a chance. But as, at least for me, right now, again, like I said, the way that I do the training is I do a couple days of role play. And then once I'm satisfied, I don't want to use that word, but like once I have at least seen that they get it, I will allow them to shadow existing chatters. Now, it's possible that during those 2 or 3 days of role play, I will have to like, I'll see that there's just somebody in there who just doesn't get it. They just don't get it. It's like, my system for chatting is do this, this, and this. I'm literally here practicing with you. I've already told you 5 times to not make this mistake. You keep making the mistake. So like, why? I'm not going to have you waste a good chatter's time who's actively, working and making money. I don't want you on the team. I don't want to have to deal with you. Cause like I've tried that before where like they fucked up in the training and I kind of passed them anyway. They never stick around. They always like work for a day and fucking quit, or they don't sell anything and they're just fucking stupid. So I hire them or I put them in a different role. Now it's possible, right? Like, why would I put them in a different role? Why wouldn't I just fire them completely? The people that you hire for chatters, right? If they have no experience, just some random fucking Filipino person who like wants a job or third world, whatever, something. If they are looking for a job, if they answered the job ad, if they attended the training, they want to make money. They're like, okay, I didn't get the chatter thing, but I can go and fucking have them do some other shit for me. And I'll pay them fucking $200 a month to go do it. I'm slowly going down with what I pay people monthly that are not sales roles. Cause I've realized that like a lot of these people are working multiple jobs anyway. And I just can't, I can get away with it. You know, like I'd rather pay 200 than 300. I'd rather pay 100 than 200. 100 is a little, I mean, if they're like live in Venezuela or something, I'll pay them $100 a month. But anyway, to earn $50 a week to fucking post to some social media accounts so that I don't have to, I think is perfectly fair. Step number 3, once they pass the training, okay, so they pass the role play training, I immediately put them into the group with the chatters who are working. I have a training group and I have a group of active chatters. Why do I do that? Now I know that some people are like, and I understand this, you're hesitant to put all of your chatters in the same group because they're going to talk to each other, right? It's like, oh, well, he said this to me and he said that to you. How much is he paying you? Oh, he's paying me this much. And I understand that maybe you're paying them different amounts. Maybe like you have one account that's getting a lot of traffic and is really good. And like this guy wants to be on this account and it's causing problems. There are some things like that pop up. However, the benefit of putting everybody in the same group, there's 2 main benefits that far outweigh any downsides. The first benefit is that every day, this is what I do. Every day in my main chatter group, I have my assistant post the daily competition. Okay. And I call it a competition on purpose because it will make them compete. Now, friendly competition, they don't talk shit. Like they're all like good, respectful people. But I remember when I was selling fucking hair straighteners at the mall or at fucking whatever, like it was a daily competition. In a couple places where I worked, they had this point of sale system that had a competition like feature, like a tab built into it. And it would have first place, second place, and third place. And you could, all the salespeople we were all connected through the point of sale. There were like 25 people in the company and it was competitive. It was like every single day throughout the day and after work, all the gossip would be like who won the competition, who got first place in the competition. Or if we were talking, you know, and I know people talked about me because I was always in the top 3, maybe not always, but like at least a couple times a week, I was in the top 3 because at that point I had a lot of experience. It was a massive ego boost for me. And it was like motivating to me to want to win the competition. And if I was second place in the competition, well, okay, to be fair, like I wasn't that obsessed with the competition, but I knew it worked for other people. For me, just side note, like the way that I sell, I just believed in having good habits and good fundamentals. And that if I worked all day and I employed the good fundamentals that I had, that there would be money at the end of the day that I had made. Didn't care so much about like, oh, I got to beat this guy or I got to beat that guy. But I know it worked for other people. And I know it was like very motivating and it was good for kind of bonding with people. Like healthy competition is good. So that's the first reason. Every day I have the assistant post the competition results for the previous day. First place, fucking, you know, whatever. Second place, boom, 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 all the way. There's 5 now, so there's 5 places. And, you know, I don't care particularly like who gets first place or second place, but I know they do. They have egos. They're human beings. They want to sell and they want to get first place. Everybody wants to get first place. Even if they don't really want to get first place, they want to get first place. And then the second reason is that they can, well, I guess there's really 3 reasons now that I think about it. But the second and third reason is that they can learn from each other and that they can become friends, which are kind of, they're not the same thing, but I'm going to talk about them both now. So learning from each other, I had a chatter, you know, I mentioned this, if you guys are in my Telegram group, I mentioned this the other day that I hired somebody named Basil from Secret Achiever, he's Secret Achiever's top chatter. And I hired him to come in and give additional training to my chatters to teach them some stuff that like I wasn't able to teach them. Great results. By the way, training is already paid for itself. 2 weeks later, you know, what has it been 2 weeks? Maybe 1 week later, whatever. It's paid for itself. Very happy that I did it. I don't get paid if you fucking sign up for, you know, you hire him to do anything for you. It doesn't matter. But after he came in and trained my guys, this actually happened today. One of the chatters posted a screenshot of him getting $1,350 in sales from one sub in a very short period of time. You could even argue that it was one sale, even though like you can't put that price tag on, you know, one thing. he collected that amount of money in exchange for one thing. Makes sense? So it was like, we're going to call it one sale. So, and that was a result of, Basil's training. Now, he posted that in the group to brag, which is fine. That's acceptable. It wasn't like, haha, fuck you guys, I'm so much better than you. It wasn't like that. He was proud of his achievement. He wanted to share it. He wanted to get some accolades. I told him, great job, because obviously I love fucking $1,300 sales. That's marvelous. But when he posted that, I said to him, I was like, screenshot the conversation and post it in here for everybody to see. And there's no like, oh, but I don't want to tell people. No. I told you to do it. You're going to do it. There's no like that. That's not, he works for me. You know what I mean? I wasn't a dick about it, but I was like, let's get everybody else on that same page. So everybody makes that kind of money. It's not something you get to keep for yourself. Anyway, long story short, he told me, he's like, oh, I've been building the sale for a couple of weeks, and it's not something that like I can just send you a couple screenshots and make it work. And I told him, I was like, okay, so what I want you to do, I want you to write a report, a case study about how you did it. I want you to put it together, use screenshots, write an explanation, and I will pay you a bonus for that. I didn't tell him how much. I just said, I'll pay you a bonus. And he said, okay, no problem. So like, this is the type of thing that you can do when you have, number one, the right people, and number two, you get their respect through just being a fucking hard but fair boss, basically. So those are the two things, right? Now he's going to send me that report. I'm going to circulate that report to all my other chatters, and it's going to be used as training material for new chatters who come in. So like, I'm not saying everybody's going to be making those kinds of sales, but they might make a $600 sale. They might, it'll increase their numbers, or at least it will give me a reference point for the training. So I can say, hey, you're doing really good with the smaller sales. Why don't you refresh yourself on this PDF here about how to do the big ones and like double your money, something like that. And then, like I said, they could become friends. Now, obviously, like in any organization, some people are going to click better with others. Some people are going to not get along with others. That's fine. That's part of the game. And that's something that you need to deal with when it pops up. But, any of you who have ever had a job, like sometimes you don't want to quit that job because you like the people who work there. And you're like, oh man, I'm like friends with these people. I've like not wanted to move cities because I was friends with like the person at the grocery store who I saw for 10 minutes a day. You know what I mean? It's a human thing. These guys work online, and they're able, through your employment of them, they're able to meet other people who are going through a unique experience, same as them. And sales is a very, it's an activity that creates a very strong bond in a very short period of time when people go through it together. When I was doing the face-to-face sales, in the beauty industry, somebody new, regardless of who it was, I would go to a new company, somebody else would come to a new company. We would work together for one day. This is everywhere except one place. One place was just awful. Actually, there were a couple awful places. But anyway, we would all work together for one day, and by the end of the day, it felt like you knew that person forever. And that's just one day. So anyway, that's step 3. Step 4, you need to monitor that. This is very important. Monitor them yourself and put the fear of God into them. So all the other stuff is important, but it's all kind of like prep, right? It's all more based on filtering and selection and profiling. And is this person the right person? And are they smart enough? And do they follow instructions? But this is where you really, how do I say this? This is where you really harden them into, the word I want to use is soldier, but like, because I was a soldier. I know what it's like to be a soldier. It sounds cool, right? It's like, it sounds like this cool thing, but I'll tell you what being a soldier really is. Being a soldier, this is what it comes down to, is, let's say, accomplishing the mission, or in simpler terms, doing what you have been directed to do, regardless of what happens, regardless of how you feel, regardless of how much pain you're in, regardless of how uncomfortable it is. That's really what being a soldier is. Any of you who have been in the military, you know it's not like the movies. It's more like prison, like actual prison, where you're there against your will. You don't get to decide when you go to bed. You don't get to decide what you do. You don't get to decide where you go or who you spend time with. It's not, I mean, the Israeli army, like, you're allowed to kind of talk back a little bit and you can negotiate. I wish I'd done that more when I was in. But still, you, at the end of the day, if they tell you to do something, you have to go do it, or you're fucking, going to jail basically. And that's really what you want from salespeople too. That's really what you want from everybody. Now, there's different ways of achieving that, but with salespeople, this has been my experience. And again, like, I started doing this less than 2 months ago. So I'm just telling you where I'm at now, what's worked for me. The best way to do that with salespeople, chatters from the Philippines, let's say, and even fucking Africans, whatever, is you need to monitor them and put the fear of God into them. So what do I mean by this? Now, let's be real, OFM bros. If you have an agency, you have models, you have traffic, you have chatters, how often are you checking the chats? Let's be honest. How often are you checking? You probably don't check at all. You probably completely forget about it. And you're like, oh, well, yeah, I guess I'll check inflow today and like see how it's going. I don't like to check inflow. Like I don't like to see how much money's coming in because it makes me nervous. I'm not sure why, but I just don't like it. Anyway, regardless, the majority of agency owners do not ever check the chats. When are you going to check the chats? Like, realistically, you're going to check the chats when you realize, either when there's a problem and the account is fucking locked for some reason and then they have to tell you, or you're going to check them when you hear that, when you basically figure out that numbers are way down, right? And you're like, what the fuck's going on? This account was doing $1,000 a day. Now it's doing $100 a day. And like, if you don't check inflow every day on all your different creators, how are you going to know that? They're not going to fucking tell you. Maybe they'll make a report and you'll see it, but I would be willing to bet that most agency owners don't have their chatters make a report that they can easily check every single day. The reason why I have my assistant post the competition in the fucking chatter group is because I want to be able to like click on a Telegram group that I have open all day and see how much everybody sold yesterday in 0.2 seconds. I don't want to check. I don't want to open Google Sheets. I don't want to like check everybody's individual Google Sheet. Like, Telegram is faster. I'm on Telegram anyway. Let me just check that. So when you monitor them, why do you need to do it? Because the only reason people will do the right thing, okay, the only reason that most people will do the right thing most of the time, or at least people who do not have strong moral fiber, and I'm not saying Filipinos or chatters like are bad people or anything like that, but like, remember when you had a job, you would try to get away with everything, like anything and everything, to do less work. People will only do the right thing if they know that there is a chance that they will get caught doing the wrong thing, and they are afraid of the real world consequences that will happen to them if they get caught. Okay, so what do I mean by this? If you have a chatter, and now with chatting, it's a little different because there's ways that a lot of chatters can kind of hide the fact that they're not making any money, right? Again, like I said, most agency owners don't check the chats anyway. They don't check every single individual model and how much that model sold every day. They don't talk to their chatters every day. They don't get daily reports printed in Telegram in a group for them to see easily. So most of them don't even know what's going on to begin with. So when you check the chats, because I can tell you, I hate checking the chats of every account. Every account. Doesn't matter. I can pick any account, even the way that I fucking sit on these guys, because I know that when I check any account, I'm going to see stuff in there that goes against what I told them to do. I'm going to see stuff in there and I'm like, why? I told you not to do that. I've told you 100 times not to do that. Yet I see it in this conversation, in this conversation, in this conversation, and it drives me up the fucking wall. And it probably drives you up the fucking wall too if you do that. Now, what happens is most people just avoid that discomfort, but you have to like lean into that discomfort and grill them. Now, what I do two things to punish them, basically. The first thing that I do is I make a video. So what I'll do is I'll do a screen recording, and I will record myself on the account reviewing their chats. And so like I'll open up Inflow, or I have some girls on other platforms. I'll open up the other platform, and I will go through the chats, and I'll click on this one, and I will say, I'll intro the video. It won't be like this. I'll be like, okay, today we're reviewing John's account that he's on. His numbers dropped lately, and I just kind of want to take a look and see what's going on. Open the first chat, already see mistakes. And like, in my videos talking to you, I don't want to say I hold back, but like I'm conscious of presenting a professional somewhat demeanor, like my $200 couch and fucking dirty floor notwithstanding. The way that I talk, the way that I communicate with you, I want to do it as clearly as possible, but also to preserve some sort of professionalism about how I do this. I think it's important, but I also try to be real and blah, blah, blah. With these guys, oh, no. There's no professionalism. It's all like, I don't want to like act it out for you, but what I'm saying verbatim is like, why the fuck did you do this? What's wrong with you? Okay, I've told you a million times not to do it, and I see it here. Do you not respect me as a person? Do you hate me? Like, are you trying to give me a fucking stroke? What else have I said to this guy? Like, do you have a head injury? I said that to somebody. I was so mad. I couldn't believe it. And I go off on them for like 30 minutes, just fucking going off on them, reviewing the chats. Now I will, I will try to control my rage and give them some constructive criticism, feedback. In other words, I will say, you did this is wrong. You should have done this. And I try to make it as illuminating as possible. And then what I do, I post that video in the group and I make everybody watch it. Every chatter's got to watch it. I don't care if you're the best chatter I have. You're watching that video. And then the second thing I do, which is basically like a text version of the video so that they can, because I know I don't want everybody to have to watch a 30-minute video to get the point. I want them to be able to spend 45 seconds on Telegram and like understand what went wrong. And I think it's also valuable to have that in a readable form as well, because it'll reinforce what they learn when they watch the videos. Okay, so that is my rock solid 4-step program, 4-step system for turning retarded Filipinos into loyal soldiers who bring me money. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe. Check out the links down below. Drop a comment if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one.